I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and today we're here to witness the decisive events in the group stage of the currently ongoing World Cup of Carcassonne. Team China is playing Team Catalonia in round 7, and here's the situation. In Group B, you can see that the top 3 teams are going to advance. So China will advance to the playoffs, and Spain will advance to the playoffs. In all likelihood, Latvia will advance to the playoffs, but Ukraine still has a slim chance of kicking Latvia out. More on that later, and you will see the decisive events for Team Ukraine and Team Spain in the evening stream. Now, for Catalonia, things don't matter that much. They will not be able to qualify because if they win China today, they will be on 3 victories, and the best that they can do is 4th place, and they would need to hope for Ukraine to lose, and they would also need to win China quite heavily. But in terms of the championship standings, it's also quite important. It's not just for prestige, it's also for very practical gains. Because the higher you place in this championship, the higher you are seeded for the next championship. And then if you score higher in this year, you get an easier group next year, perhaps. But for China, it's not just about qualifying for the playoffs. If they win against Catalonia today, then they will able to clinch 1st place, which means that they will go straight onto the quarterfinals, whereas the other 2 teams will have to play in the wildcard round of 12. So both teams have something to play for. Also, I see that not many of you are here, and this is for a reason. I kind of messed up earlier. I announced the stream only a couple of minutes ago, even though I thought I had done so a long time ago. But I just realized this morning that for some reason I set this stream to private, which I really did not mean to do. So, in case you're here, do meeple the like button so that the algorithm can show this stream to some other people. For example, now on my second screen, I can't even. Aha, there we go. Finally, at least there's a notification that we're live. Hi, Vaje. So, let's do the match, of course. But before that, some stats. Okay, I'm gonna try to introduce everything really quickly. Look at who China brought today. Do you see these match odds? They're based entirely on ELOs, of course, entirely on ratings, nothing else, not tournament history, not everything. But just look at this. China has a 90% chance of winning today. But the Catalan fans, don't panic, because several teams have, on multiple occasions, defeated the World Cup calculator predictions. But let's just go through these numbers real quick. So top 3 tables. Look at this. China has brought 2 masters with the screen names Bilal Aferi and Self-Evident on tables 2 and 3. Imagine if you're Bilal Aferi, you're rated over 700 and still you're not the highest rated player on the team. So China really means business here. And then the player with the screen name Mitao Cat is heavily outrating the player with the screen name Custom Lolo on table 1 for Team Catalonia. But on table 1, you know what? They are currently at their lowest rating, but I've seen Custom Lolo being rated over 600 as well. So this battle will be closer than one might expect. And then, of course, on table 3, Self-Evident is playing against the captain of Catalonia, Danny Angelat, with a screen name Senglar. And this will be a relatively close match as well, even though I would expect the Chinese player to prevail. Whereas on table 4 and 5, everything can happen. So the Chinese captain with the screen name Meme9 on table 5 is playing against Isabella del Corzo of Catalonia. There is 100 ELO points difference, but if Catalonia were to win this match, that probably the route is through table number 5. And probably the tightest duel is on table 4. The Chinese player with the screen name 203 Club, who's actually has not played for Team China before. This is their very first match, so they will be motivated to prove themselves. They'll be playing against Alberto on table 4, and as you see, there's quite a small rating difference. So we're going to start with table 3, and then we're going to watch table 4 afterwards. And of course, if you want to watch something else, or some other jewel, please let me know. Oh, these guys have not started their duel yet, interestingly. Surely we'll just need to keep refreshing and refreshing and refreshing, and then all will be well. But apparently no. So instead we're going to watch these guys over here, because they have started already 4 minutes ago. That's interesting. The match only started 1 minute ago. So are they really that eager to play? That's so they have some Iberian tempos there. Normally Team China is kind of very slow and deliberate, but it looks like the player with the yellow meeples, the Catalan player, has managed to impose his own tempo. So let's make sense of this position. 20 tiles have been played. Slight advantage on the scoreboard, actually quite a healthy advantage on the scoreboard once the city has been completed. 17 points on the scoreboard for Alberto here. But Blue has a bunch of things going on for him as well. This city is vulnerable but could be completed. This city at the bottom is likely going to be completed. Blue just finished a 4-point road and started yet another city. There's a monastery over here, which in all likelihood will be completed, because even though yellow drew one of the tiles that would fit into this hole, there's still 2 of those remaining for roughly 75% chance for blue to get his meeple back, continue his road, monastery. Possibly, if blue were to draw one of these guys, he can meeple the city with tempo and complete this city in the future. So a lot of things that can happen. Still 17 points ahead on the scoreboard, 4 points meeple advantage. The Catalan player has to be happy here. Blue, in the meantime, drew quite a nice tile for them. They're trying to complete this city over here, and this will actually make the game completely equal for them, because the city is really big when it's going to be completed. 1, 2, 3, 4, so 6 triangles still remaining. And there's still 1 divider remaining, so still plenty of tiles left to go here. And look at this efficient scoring for blue. He started with just 1 tile. He's preparing to finish a 5-point road, so that's maximum efficiency over here. If he manages to finish his road, he'll get 5 points for 2 moves, which is like 2.5 points per move, which is better than a standard city. In the meantime, yellow starts a new city over here, trying to make use of his meeple advantage, and at the same time restricting this monastery further. And now, in all likelihood, this guy is not going to come back to blue's hands, because look at this and look at this. The same tile is needed in both squares, so in order to free up this meeple, blue will need to draw the same tile twice. The chances of that happening are slightly below 25%. Blue completes his 5-point road. In the meantime, yellow was completing his 5-point city, and now it's a huge tile for yellow. Do you know what you do here? No, not that, not that. There's another move that I preferred. It's certainly a natural move, finishing the city, but I kind of like the idea of trying to equalize the city, even at the expense of giving your opponents a few points. Because if blue manages to complete this city, it's just so huge for them. But I see that the idea of yellow is to try and block the square, which could work, but it could also not work. Now finally the Chinese player is deliberating, and they should. I mean, you probably put this tile over here, but it's a question of how you turn it. If you turn it with the city tile facing down with the road like over here, then immediately this square becomes vulnerable, and yellow could draw a straight line, drop a farmer as well, and then suddenly you need a Dorito with a curve to finish this city. And there's only 2 of those remaining, because look at these. Here are the Doritos with a curve, right? So it's going to be quite a long wait. On the other hand, if you put this tile over here with the road facing down, then this meeple becomes vulnerable, and also it's no guarantee that you're going to finish this city as well. And this is why blue decided to do neither. and just simply pre-finish his road over here. That's actually quite a nice move. The idea that when they get the tile that fits here, they're going to immediately get this meeple back and a few extra points. Yellow, in the meantime, finished another 5-point road and dropped a farmer. Everything with tempo. I like what Yellow is doing here. Remember what the 2016 world champion Vladimir Kovalev said: never underestimate the importance of road, and both players are following this advice. Fantastic tile for blue. Look at this. So Yellow was trying to block the city, but blue immediately drew a tile that gives him a meeple back and finishes his city and gives him a connecting platform, but most importantly gives him a defense. And now there are 2 tiles remaining that fit into this square, and if blue draws one of them, then blue will be already ahead, and quite significantly so. So now, as yellow, you should probably assume that your opponent will draw this tile eventually, and then you need to get some advantage elsewhere. Like try to get some compensation. And yellow decides, you know what, I'm going to use my temporary meeple advantage to drop some farmers, maybe win this big farm over here. It's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5, possibly 6 cities if it merges all the way here. In the meantime, blue tries to break yellow city, but yellow's saying not so fast. I'm going to draw the exact tile that is needed, and I'm gonna try to finish it. And now, is he actually contemplating meepling the road? No, he isn't, or maybe he was, but he thought better of it. And now, as blue, I mean, there's so many things you can do. You could probably meeple a counter field over here. You could start a 4-point road like this, hoping for a straight line. There are still 4 straight lines remaining. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, never mind. There are 3 straight lines remaining. Still, it's possible to do that. What else can he do? But if you want to go all in as blue, if you decide, you know what, I'm not going to win the game without this tile, you might as well make this tile have a lasting impact. You could go over here and meeple the field, and then you'd be setting up for like a complete takeover over the field. So let's say if you get this tile, then you finish the road, you drop a farmer over here, and then you connect all the way through here and win the field with a majority. So that would be the most spectacular play, but he just goes for the safer move in the meantime. Okay, now you do it. Now I really think the best move, well, I mean, you could also meeple him on this show, right? It's not wrong to go over here or over here, but I think that's not really where the spirit of the game lies. How about we go over here and we meeple a farm and we pre-build this big road over here for 5 points and the field connection. And also we have another option of entering into the field. If we drop a farmer right here, right now, then in case we don't get this tile, then yellow could bring us into the farm himself. If yellow finishes the road like this, they will be entering, and he does this, he has to do it. There we go, there we go. Maybe the Chinese player is watching the stream. Maybe we are on the same wavelength, but what a move, what a move. Ooh, impatience, but actually, maybe it ain't bad. So this guy decided to connect into the farm immediately, and maybe that's not wrong. And the idea is that he's going to finish his city and drop a farmer and try to win, try to have a majority there. Will he do it now? He doesn't do it just yet, but somebody's going to take advantage of this juicy connection square. Somebody got to drop a farmer here, whether it's blue or yellow, it does not matter. Well, obviously it matters for them, it does not matter for us. Somebody got to draw that. In the meantime, great news for yellow, because this Dorito tile has been drawn, so now there's only one option to fit over here. Alberto meeples a 6-point counter field. I'm not sure if that was actually that important, but sure, why not? He decides to spend the tempo. And his idea is that he does not want to give blue a tempo, because blue could be going over here and meepling this farm himself. And also this lead on the scoreboard is quite nice for yellow for sure. Yellow was also trying to finish this city, but blue made it now much, much harder with this tile. Yellow's getting some quick points. Yellow's also threatening to finish his city. It's all yellow, yellow, yellow all over the board. So, Mr. 203 over here. Hi, Edgar. Hi, João. Thanks for joining despite the like super late notice. Again, I messed up with the stream settings, so it wasn't visible until the very last moment. So meeple the like button so that others show up. By the way, you meepling the like button has totally been working, because according to my analytics, there are actually new people showing up to watch the streams who got this recommended by the algorithm, who actually were not aware that there's a World Cup going on. Make your presence known in case you're one of those people. So now the Chinese players deliberating again, as they should. I mean, it's really not an easy tile to play. A move that you could consider is going over here and breaking the city, making it almost impossible for yellow to complete, but it had its downsides because you would be attacking your own city inadvertently as well, and he decides, you know what, I ain't gonna do it. But now, yellow probably gonna go over here. No, come on, man. Have some, no desire for content with these people. If they're just trying to win the game, try to play cautiously. Play riskier, that's always more fun to watch. So instead of joining another farmer, yellow decided that he can win without the field, and he is okay with this field being tied 2 versus 2. So he just simply eliminated this field connection for either side, but I'm really not sure about this move because blue is threatening still to finish his city, in which case blue will be added on the scoreboard, and then the tie on the field will not be enough for yellow, and blue is also still threatening to drop the farmer over here. And then blue will take the field over like this, but it does not matter because look at this tile. Huge draw for yellow because this was the last tile that fit into this square for blue. But blue says, okay, I have one other win conditions. This city still gonna give me 7 points at the end of the game, even if not completed. And now I take advantage of the one remaining field connection spot. I'm going to loop my meeple all around over here and just win. Here comes the farmer. Now what does Alberto do here? I guess he could go over here trying to block, but will that even work? Because there's still an option for this guy to connect from here. Oh, snap. He goes for the overfarm. Look at this move. He finishes his road and drops a point and drops a meeple on the 3-point farm. And now he's threatening to connect through here, through here, through here, and through everywhere. What a move over here by the player with the blue meeples, churning the tides. Edgar is saying that was the reason for closing the yellow's ring road. Yes, exactly. So earlier, when blue was closing yellow's ring road, that was actually a really savvy move because it was an insurance against not drawing one of these 2 tiles, and this is exactly what happened. And second, it actually set up this whole idea of what blue was doing right now, of opening a city cap and then meepling this farm. So will the Catalan player just relinquish the field and try to make up for the points somewhere else? I don't think it's really possible. I think maybe you need to start fighting for this field extra hard, or maybe not. Maybe you can just, I don't know, meeple a monastery or something for 5 points. Then score a 3-point road. Bring your monastery up to 6 points. He decides, no, I just want some quick points. But at some point, he needs to decide how he's going to win this game. Like, if you don't meeple the monastery, and you take 2 points instead, what you're saying essentially, I'm going to fight for the field. But how? This field is so closed. The Chinese player managed to secure all the entrances. So I guess as yellow, you need to create entrances for yourself. Well, there is one entrance right over here. So blue now brought his farmer into the field. Blue now has a 3 versus 2 majority. Now again, big decision time here. So do we, yeah, and he decides to fight for this field. He does not take the 4 points for the city. He drops a farmer. But here's the problem, because here comes this guy through the outside. And now 4 versus 3 majority for blue. So probably as yellow, you kind of have to go over here and drop another farmer to equalize this field, but it's your last meeple. So as blue, can you now simply outscore your opponent? It very well may be so. Just as blue was preparing something really sinister, Alberto drew the tile, and now this field is completely tied with 4 meeples versus 4. So how we're doing 4 points elsewhere? I mean, is blue ahead? I'm not sure. Let's look. So +1 on the scoreboard. 8-point monastery versus 6-point field at +2, so that's +3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-point city versus 7-point city. That's +2, so that's +5. And then this city is unopposed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So actually the point count is completely equal, or will be completely equal after yellow joins this field, presuming that this is still possible. But I do think that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there's at least one straight line. Yeah, there's exactly one straight line remaining that can go over here. And possibly even something else, like a T-shaped crossroads. Exactly like a T-shaped crossroads. Oh man, Alberto now is a world of trouble. Or is he? Because he's trying to sneak through the other side. Oh, look at that. Did you see that move? He's getting an extra point over here for his scoreboard. So now, if he connects, he will be technically at +1, even though, I mean, blue has a meeple. But the question is, can he even finish his city? I don't think so, unfortunately, although that would be spectacular. All 5 vanilla caps like this are out, and all 2 dividers are out. How we're doing for Doritos? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's actually one Dorito left, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So there's still one tile to fit the connection, and actually, there's still a starting tile to finish the city. So there's a world where yellow connects to the farm of the Dorito and finishes his city with a starting tile for even more gazillion points. Just double checking the tile counts. I mean, I see only 4 Doritos on the board, including the one that blue has in hand, and I see only 3 starting tiles on the board, which means that the scenario that I just described is still possible. Not super likely, but possible. But as blue, I mean, what you do? I think you just... Yeah, actually, as blue, you could probably secure a win here. Like, you don't need to win the field, really. You just need to get a few more points. So as blue, you simply meeple the city over here for 7 points, which puts you at +6. And then Alberto connects, but still, there's no way he's going to make up 7 points. And even if Alberto, yeah, exactly, Alberto draws the thingy tile just a little bit too late, while he gets 2 points over here. And as you see, the starting tile was here, so the whole thing was possible. But here's the thing. Had you may think that yellow was a little bit unlucky to draw this tile too late, but this is actually not true, because had yellow put this tile over here, then no matter what blue were to draw, blue would have had a blocking tile, so this city would not be completed. Alberto's asking, you win? Well, why? Why the question? I mean, just gotta look at the scoreboard, my man. Yeah, I mean, of course he wins. What did that come as a surprise to the play with the yellow meeples? Oh, maybe the question mark was a typo. I'm not sure. Well, certainly interesting game. I mean, spectacular comeback from blue, despite being unlucky with this tile, managing to drop this farmer, loop around. I thought that was pretty cool. So certainly quite a flashy appearance. First appearance for the Chinese player. Just crossed the 600 elo threshold, and Catalonia really needs to win this duel because it will be much harder for them to win this duel in another way. But we move our attention to the player with the screen name Senglar on table number 3. That's the Catalan captain. Senglar in Catalan means wild boar, hence the graphic representation on the scoreboard. And hence the wild position with lots of green in this match against the Chinese master. So many monasteries, so many farmers. Let's start making sense of this. So the Chinese player, 6 points ahead on the scoreboard, red meeples, 1 extra meeple. Huge in an open position like this. This means that he can maybe attack the big field. But how are we doing for the big field? Currently tied 1 meeple of red versus 1 meeple of yellow, but look at the second red meeple, which is about to sneak in. What else are we having? A couple monasteries which sort of compensate each other, like 2 and 2, and this one semi-blocked guy, but there's still 1 tile and 1 tile only remaining for yellow to get 2 meeples back and adds a bunch of points on his scoreboard. Actually, that would be huge. Let's say if yellow were to draw this tile, he scores 4 points for the road, 4 points for the city, 9 points for the monastery, gets 2 meeple back, and probably can start fighting for this field again. So, wow, what a move. What a move. The guy's going all in. He's going all in. He decided that it's not enough for him to equalize the field. He wants to even win this field outright. I mean, first of all, he's trying to equalize the field, don't get me wrong. And he's now hoping for the 1 remaining monastery that fits into this square. And this will give him a meeple back and the field connection. Or, you know, he could also meeple this monastery, I guess. That could work as well. He probably should. And then he also needs to hope for this tile. So lots of things need to go the Catalan player as well in order to achieve this comeback. And I mentioned the field fight as a sort of default, and that's because the field is just so valuable. 1, 2, 3, 4, assuming 5, 6, 7, 8 cities. At least 8 cities will be there. Okay, at least 7, but it is going to grow. It's going to grow. Red's starting a new city, immediately being denied by yellow. So now red needs 3 tiles to finish his city, and given the vast number of city caps already on the board, I'm not even sure that there is enough tiles in the deck to make this city completed. But red says, it's fine. All I gotta do is turn the city into a ruin, just keep adding points, points, points. It could end up scoring 5 or 8 or 10 points at the end of the game. Then maybe we use our meeple surplus to meeple a 6-point field. And we just win that way. And look at this. The gamble paid off. Senglar equalized the field, gets a meeple back, and now is thinking whether to meeple this monastery, which he absolutely, absolutely should. Because, like, where else are you going to get 8 points with just 1 meeple? So now, this is on. He is ahead on the scoreboard. And if we count up all the points, Okay, so okay, he has like 1 extra over here, 3 extra over here. He's -1 on the board, so currently yellow is at +2. But he's 1 meeple down. And 1 meeple, of course, is more valuable than 2 points in a position like this, especially after Self-Evident goes over here, scores 4 points for the road, unless he has something flashier in mind. I can see that the field is still up for grabs. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. There's still 1 starting tile remaining, which means that it fits into this square. Which means that if Senglar wants to make this game a 50-50, which actually he kind of should. Yeah, I like it, I like it. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Over here with a farmer. Certainly that's the content move. But I also think that's the best move. No! Oh my... What a blunder. Oh, what a blunder. Did you see what happened? I think there was a field hallucination here from the captain. Because he sort of went for this idea. But if he goes over here, this meeple will not go into the field. He had to, of course, make the same move, but place this tile over here so that these 2 fields merge. And now he needs multiple tiles. He needs this tile and also this tile to merge, to connect. But Red can simply deny him that. Red can now go over here and score 3 points with the farmer. And that's it. Probably clinch the game. I mean, there's still some options for yellow. Like, there's still this tile that goes over here. But quite unfortunate to see a hallucination like this. I mean, these do happen. You can see me committing one in a Blitz game in a video which is called More Carcassonne Blitz. The latest video I posted, that was about a month ago. Yeah, exactly, and he does this. And by now, probably, the Catalonia player must have realized their blunder. Self-Evident is going to keep scoring quick points. Probably go over here. But still, this is not over for yellow. Yellow still can draw this tile, completes, you know, get 2 meeples back, get some points. Oof. And Self-Evident draws the thingy for over here, which he should probably use it here. I mean, what else are you gonna do? Because then yellow would need the one and only remaining Dorito to go over here and to equalize the farm. No, Joao was saying field hallucinations are so bad the pressure doesn't help. Oh yeah, this is true. Oh right. Yeah, of course we all witnessed. We were watching the game of Joao against, who was the Belgian player? I forgot. Anthology? Yeah, I think it was him. Field hallucination is when you like think that 2 fields are merged together, but they're actually not. Self-Evident drawing more quick points and quick points and quick points. He's probably going to score 4 points at the bottom end of the map. But he still wants to have perfect knowledge of the remaining tile. That's why he's spending time tile counting and point counting and stuff like this. I'm gonna update the scoreboard for you in a second to reflect the win of the Chinese player on table number 4, and then after that we're going to quickly go through the jewels and see who else is winning. Oh, he takes 2 points, and I know why. I know why this is so smart. You wouldn't believe. This was such a great move. You know what? He's saying this. If I draw this tile, I win anyway. But if my opponent draws this tile, then he takes a meeple back, and then he can use his remaining meeple to snatch the farm. And this move over here was meant to prevent that one unlikely scenario. And as we see, it's so unfortunate for the player with the yellow meeple. He actually managed to get his meeple back. He drew the crucial tile, but just too little, too late. So he's going to have a massive meeple surplus, unused meeples, and quite a painful defeat here for the player with the yellow meeples. Let's see what the point difference is. So 19 points the red player was ahead as a result of just crunching these quick points in the last few tiles, which goes to show you that had yellow drawn this tile earlier, then the game would have been absolutely up for grabs. They could have either fought for the field like this perhaps, or they could have maybe scored some quick points and just accumulated the 19 points elsewhere. So yeah, quite a fascinating game. Certainly yellow gave us some content with a move like this and with a field hallucination like this. But congratulations to the Chinese player for some massive precision here at the end. Oh, thank Nuno for the update. So it does look like Team China is currently sweeping it across the board. Meme 9 and Metalcat and Balala Fairy, they're all won their first games. Now, who do you want to watch next? I would kind of stick with Senglar, I guess. Whoops. Simply because we get to watch a game from the start. And also because this one was quite close. So the pressure on the Catalan captain here is to make the comeback and on the highest rated Chinese player to assert his dominance. The Catalan player is adhering to the principle of two cities in the opening, starting a city over here, which he wants to complete with triangles, starting another city over here, which he wants to continue with extenders and a city cap. So quite a balanced development. Also, there are a bunch of other useful things that this move is setting up. If he gets a city cap, then immediately this square becomes vulnerable from this side. Both parties are now equal in monasteries, but red will be the first on the scoreboard by going over here, possibly dropping a farmer, possibly not. I think the only thing that he's thinking about is the farmer. The placement of the tile is not even a question. But, I mean, yellow can still do something. Perhaps being the first on this road. So whoever draws a curve can actually get a really nice move by placing the curve over here and all but securing this super long road. So instead, Senglar gets this triple crossroads and is on the scoreboard as well. As red here, there's a bunch of things you can do. You can simply add one monastery point, or you could go over here, which I like better because it's creating a block. You see, he's taking advantage of the two tiles, of the two dagger tiles that have already been played. And if he draws one curve, one straight line, any road tile other than that one, then he will be able to go over here, and then there will be only one tile that fits into the square. He starts a new city with this tile. I absolutely love this move. It's just setting up so much Well, I mean, first of all, it's just simply a new city in a relatively safe place. But also, once you complete this city, then you are starting to put pressure on this square over here. And I expect exactly that to happen. So to finish the city with tempo and create a blocking square with tempo. So it's good to block in Carcassonne as long as you're not chasing opponents around, but you're also trying to get some points yourself. So starting a new city in a way that also kind of hurts your opponent is always quite useful. Because with this move over here, forced yellow was forced into an inefficiency, right? So yellow now used this tile to save his city from a block. Of course, now we know that yellow drew the tile that would have fit over here, but still, this was a good move by yellow, this defense, and we cannot be results oriented. So finishing a road, starting a new city. Now this field is grown to be quite big. Interesting, he decided to take it like this. Then he hopes to continue his road and attack the city. Really creative move here from the Catalan player. So as self-evident, do you just go over here and equalize this field perhaps? Or do you go over here to prevent your opponent from dropping a second farmer? Or do you go over here trying to block? Or do you simply take 2 points, which is probably my preferred move, because with this kind of meeple majority, you will be able to put some farmers a little bit later. The one thing that I didn't mention is this monastery, a huge tile for the play with the red meeples. Oh, look at that. We have an upset on table number 2. The player with the screen name Borborici is victorious against the player with screen name Balala Ferry, who's probably, correct me if I'm wrong, must be now the highest rated female player in the world. So certainly quite a big gain for Team Catalonia, and we will try to catch a glimpse of that decider. By the way, after this match, stay tuned for a Fantasy Carcassonne update. There was some really interesting developments. What a move here by Red. I mean, I really like this. This is so sneaky. Like, normally it's not a great idea to waste city caps on farmer moves, but not in this case. No. He clinches the farm, and also this city cap is actually super safe, because if, let's say, yellow were to draw this, yellow would not be able to claim this city cap, because this would make this square immediately super vulnerable. So that's why yellow was forced to deal with this vulnerability, at least temporarily, by adding one more city tile to his city. But now red draws a city cap, scores a bunch of points. Yellow draws another city cap, and meeples a second city. Now he's out of meeples. He has 4 cities open, but actually I really like his move. I don't think you can ever afford to leave a city cap empty here. And still, there's plenty of ways how you can get a meeple back. You can get a meeple back here with a crossroads. You can get a city cap here. You can get back-to-back triangles over here. And in case of dire emergency, you have curve plus straight line over here. Even though this is a move that doesn't give you points, at least it gives you a meeple back. So by placing your last meeple in this case, yellow will not be losing any value. And reds now decides to take a monastery in a spot which controls both this square and this square. So quite a painful development for yellow. I mean, still, he's fine. He's going to have one of these city caps eventually. Now adding 2 points to his road, making his way into the field. So red now adds a monastery points and prepares a blocking attack. In the meantime, Yellow adds one more point to his road, but more importantly gives himself more tile to get a meeple back. Now he can get a meeple back not only with the crossroads, but also one of these guys. So several more road ends. So 7 tiles to get a meeple back over here. 5 crossroads plus this. Then 5 tiles to get a tile to meeple back over here. Well, let's see if this stays that way. Because Self-Evident is preparing a block. If he gets a triangle or triple city or something like this, this goes over here with a city side facing down, and then this meeple is trapped forever. This is the threat, which is why probably as Sanglar, you need to go and get yourself slightly better probabilities. It's kind of a weak passive defense, but at least it takes away some blocking tiles from your opponent. So let's say if you go over here, and if your opponent draws a Dorito tile with a road, exactly, yeah, good move over here, then your opponent, red, is not able to block this city. I mean, still, this meeple is absolutely not out of the woods just yet. Self-Evident here is probably going to go over here or over here, building up his monastery and at the same time restricting further and further these 3 city guys over there. But he's probably now debating which side it's better to start first, this or this. Ideally, I think what he wants to draw a curve to stick a more painful thorn into this meeple. And possibly get a triangle and even block 2 of these guys on 1 square. And that's why he decides to be patient. Just add 1 monastery point at the bottom and wait for a curve over here to deliver something more painful. So yellow does get a meeple back at a price. He now was forced to leave this 5-point road, which now will be scored by the Chinese player. The only thing that they're thinking about is whether to turn the road like this, or like this, or like this. I know the answer to that one. I think the best orientation is like this in order to not give your opponent tempo moves. And he doesn't do this. What a move over here. He decides that a shot at blocking your opponent's meeple together with your own meeple is more important than a 5-point road. I'm really not sure about that, but certainly an interesting move over here. But this is exactly the kind of play that we expect from China and some other East Asian teams. They very often prioritize blocking over point scoring. And I think in this situation, he decided that having this meeple blocked will be so uncomfortable for yellow that it is worth sacrificing these points. Certainly an interesting decision over here. Let's see if yellow gets the next crossroads and has something to say about that. Oh, look at this. And now, yeah, I really see red's idea now. I start liking it more and more and more. Because now he's putting a pressure on this meeple as well. There's still tiles, there's still 3 triangle tiles that go, which he can put over here by blocking 2 meeples at the same time. Red will obviously go over here, try to put some pressure. Man, life is hard if you're yellow now. On the other hand, as yellow, you don't need both meeples back. You only need 1 meeple back. So let's say you get a regular city cap. You get this meeple back, right? All is well. Then you get a crossroads to score 5 points. And then you get this meeple back and you're chilling. So as Senglar here, I actually think that the move is to go here. He could consider restricting his own meeple, but then he would have 1 tile that gets this meeple back, and it's a 2 tiles that get this meeple back. So it's a total for 3 tiles that give him 1 meeple back, and 1 meeple back is really all he needs. Also, if he places this tile over here, exactly, he finds the move. It sort of starts putting pressure on this meeple, which of course doesn't matter because red immediately draws another city cap and a city cap and a city cap. But there are now scenarios how if yellow were to win the coin flip soon enough, let's say if he gets the tile that goes over here, he can meeple a field and connect into the field through here by completing his city. So really nice find here by the player with the yellow meeples. In the meantime, we have news. Thanks for the update, Nono, that China is now on the match scoreboard. The Chinese captain had taken care of his captaining duties on table number 5 and won against Isabella del Corzo. In the meantime, yellow breaks red city. Red can probably just carry on over here. Yellow gets a meeple back. Does not meeple the city just yet. It certainly makes sense. He wants to have more meeples to fight for the road, and self-evident now will not get punished for relinquishing the 5 points. He'll be able to take the 5 points anyway. Surely that's the move over here. It comes with a price, however. It creates a field connection. This field is worth at least 12 points. It is kind of valuable, and Senglar finishes one of his cities, and it's on. So as self-evident, do you go over here and spend your last meeple to drop a farmer and to connect through a curve? It's certainly a move that you should be considering. Another alternative, of course, is to go over here and then hope to get a city cap and drop a farmer like this. But I do believe that both sides need to start thinking about how they're going to win this field. It's worth 15 points, possibly 18. I certainly see either side dropping a field meeple over here with a curve perhaps, claiming this 6-point field on the left, and possibly connecting over here. So now, red goes for the more traditional move, tries to go over here, and look at this! In order to prevent him from dropping a farmer, he places a 1-point city over here to equalize all of that, and possibly, in some scenarios, win a big ruin over here. Suddenly, despite all red's blocking attempts, it's yellow who is with the meeple advantage. But we gotta remember, the game is not about meeples, the game is about points. Yellow is absolutely happy to have his meeples blocked, but 8 points over here, 7 points over here, 7 points over here. Do you know how many this adds up to? That's right, 22. 4 points over here, that's 26. I mean, it's a lot of points, and there are even some scenarios how yellow can afford to lose this field. Yeah, yellow just goes for this. Oh, red can afford to lose this field, sorry, and red just goes for this. Yellow has a bunch of things to think about. Probably a block here could work, or simply completing this connection, actually. I like this as well. I really do, I really do. Oh, he goes for the farm. He does the thing. He says, if I win the coin flip, I get my meeple here. And if I don't win the coin flip, well, it's still a 6-point field, sort of, kind of. Not sure if this is the time to do that. Maybe we should have waited for a curve, in all honesty. Yeah, I probably like using this tile over here first and over here. Because if we can take care of this meeple, this is absolutely huge. Red now scores 3 points, putting further pressure. Well, actually, it's not just pressure, it's a complete block. Bam, bam. Complete block, right? Now the cities are connected here. Red is probably going to score some more quick points. And I think the game is headed into a direction where red will be opting for a fieldless win condition. Red says, okay, you can win this coin flip, you can win the field. but my monasteries are going to take care of the job, and in case they don't, I still have another piece of city over here. Quick points are powerful. Also talk about another upset. Well, actually, I mean, because China had Catalonia out-traded on every single table, I guess like every Catalan win is a bit of an upset. But talk of a comeback. The player with screen name Casimlola has equalized against the Chinese player with screen name Mitao Cat. So we are going to, I hope we're going to catch a glimpse of that decider. So certainly Catalonia is making it closer than one could have expected. I see a move. Well, actually, there are many moves to consider. First of all, as self-evident, you need to assess like how much do you actually care about finishing the city, how much do you care about this field, and so on and so on. You could either go over here and threaten to take a meeple back, which is a real threat. It's actually not that easy to block because many blocking city tiles are out. So he decides, I'm gonna finish the city. Well, I mean, if he does, he just wins out, right? So Senglar better do something about it if he wants to. As Senglar probably you... Whoa! That's an interesting gamble here. He does not go to block. But instead he simply dumps this tile over here in order to prevent somebody claiming that city. And the idea is, it looks like a big gamble, but in fact it actually is. Because even though 5 Doritos are out, there's still 1 splitter tile that goes over here. It does seem that he really wants to go for these coin flips, but the question is, do you really have to do that? Like, it's certainly, you know, for content, this is great. In the meantime, Nuno is saying that the Chinese player with the screen name 203 Club has won on table number 4. So certainly a great debut for the new member of the Chinese team. He was, by the way, picked by some of you for the fantasy Carcassonne game. So certainly some of you were rooting for them to win. And they're currently 100%. They won every single game in which they have participated. But also for the sake of this match, this now means that Catalonia cannot afford to lose a single game, which means that Senglar needs to take this one down, and the Borborici and Casimolo also need to deliver another upset. This game that we're watching now is still up for grabs for either side. Self-evident has a curve. He's super close to finishing the city. There are still tiles that fit there. Well, in all fairness, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 2 tiles that go there. Regular city cap, still 1 vanilla city cap remaining, and of course the splitter, which we said before. I mean, like it's a beautiful win condition. You forget about the field and you do this. There are some scenarios how yellow can win despite red completing his city. Let's say if red gets the regular city cap and yellow gets this tile to go over here. How do you not meeple that city cap? I am speechless. Maybe maybe there's something that I don't know. But it does seem to me... Okay, I understand how you not meeple the city cap, but... Yeah, I guess it makes sense, It's certainly something that I would be considering. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter, It's too long to explain, basically. I can't think as fast as these players can, apparently. Look at this move, just minimizing variance. So, red realizing that he's ahead, He managed to close down this coin flip opportunity. Senglar now dropping a farm. Self-Evident will now complete his monastery and meeple a new ruin, which is why it was so important to block this monastery before. And Yellow had so many chances to do this, and he chose not to, probably to his detriment. This tile always goes over here, the meeple always goes on the city, and I'm not even sure the field will be enough at this point for Yellow, but let's see. So probably this tile could go over here, if he's still hoping for the starting tile. Oh no, he decides to simply meeple a 2-point road. Also an option. And now Self-Evident draws the thing, completes a huge city, and probably drops a farmer to add some insult to injury. Well, now surely Red will have it. Or will he? I guess with the critical tile, Yellow could deliver a powerful response here. The Chinese player debating a move which I thought was self-evident but isn't. This field meeple. I still like the field meeple. Because you really only need one extra city cap to justify it. Oh, the insurance road. Oh, that's... Did you see that? Did you see that? This is the move that wins Red the game. Because he denied so many points to Yellow. Yellow would have taken like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points for the road. And maybe that's why as Yellow, instead of taking these 2 points, you should have considered going over here. Just preparing this road. And probably this greed is what going to cost Yellow the game, perhaps? Just beautiful play here from the player with the red meeples. Building up a big city. You know, pre-building a ruin for himself at the same time. Denying his opponent's threat for winning the coin flip and scoring a huge city. Finishing the monastery with tempo, and then just the icing on the cake. The anticipation meeple on the road is just so huge. Now Self-Evident wants to play with maximum precision. Probably can go over here trying to block one of his opponent's city caps. Limbo Man 1988 is asking, based on the past games, who will win the championship? I don't know who will win the championship, but only Portugal and Romania are undefeated in this tournament so far. Self-Evident even manages to finish this for 10-point road. It's just unbelievable on his last move, and what a game. What a game. This anticipation meeple was everything. I'm now going to refresh. Yeah, Joao saying Japan has to be the favorite. That's true. Japan lost a couple of matches, but they have all but qualified successfully for the next stage by defeating Germany and Well, anyway, it's the championship finals are still at least 4 weeks away. We have to continue watching this match because even though China has already won, they still need the extra tiebreaker. So Team China still wants to win the other tables, and the reason for that is because now Team Spain is watching this match very carefully, and if Spain wins against Ukraine with a better score than China wins against Catalonia, then Spain can take over the first place in this group. So China still has to try hard. We are going to look at Metalcat's game or Borborici's game. Wait, yeah, I haven't seen this. Actually, no, never mind. We're looking at this. Oh, perfect. So you said that Bilal won, so China is up 4 versus 0. So certainly quite a lot at stake here in terms of honor. I don't think Catalonia wants another 5 versus 0 loss. But the Chinese player says, I don't care what Catalonia wants. I'm 25 points ahead on the scoreboard. I have a bunch of monasteries. I want this match to end 5-0. Catalonia has already lost 5-0 twice to Team Latvia and Team UK. Which, of course, I don't think is representative of the true strength of Team Catalonia. And, okay, we have some content over here. Let's just get to this position because look at what Casimlo is trying to do. He wants to get a bunch of Doritos over here and over here and eats up this whole druid, well, which would totally work for them, right? Oh, great question. So, self-evident is that, hey, self-evident, congrats on the win. What is the picture on the left of me? I was kind of thinking what would be a good way to represent the screen name self-evident, and at least these are my associations. Like maybe some of you can guess. What's the most famous sentence containing the words self-evident? But again, maybe it's not the most famous sentence. Maybe it's just me. But yeah, this picture of a scroll is it's a specific scroll. It's not just any scroll. In the meantime, Casimlola has the thing, right? Can he go over here? Can he try taking over the city? I don't think so. Because there are no Doritos. There are no regular Doritos, and he recognized that. This would have been so spectacular. This would have been so spectacular. But the move of the week is not going to happen. It looks like the Chinese player will assert his role as the favorite, especially once Metalcat drew this. He's probably going to place it over here, deny this farmer an entrance. Or does he even care because the farm is not even that big, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cities for 15 points. That's why he just doesn't bother. Metalcat getting a road tile, could score a point over here, a point over here, a point over here, or maybe deny this farmer an entry if he really cares about this farm. Again, probably not going to make much difference because these two monasteries are just as big as the farm itself. Or if anything, you could even bring this meeple into the farm just to make sure that this guy loses these 3 extra points so that red doesn't score twice for the same farm. Because, I mean, red can still go from here, right? And yeah, exactly. He says, you know, you can take my farm as long as it's not multiple farms, but just one farm. Metalcat will take 4 quick points, show us a masterclass in fieldless win conditions. Red is going to finish his city. He will still have a meeple to play on his last move. And now Metalcat will go over here, bringing another of his opponent's farmers into the field, score 2 points for the road, deny his opponent 3 field points for a total of +5. But actually here we need to be precise, because sometimes maybe it's better to score a move that gives you fewer points. For example, you can go over here, take 4 points for the road, just so that in case your opponent has a curve, they don't get 5 points for this road. But he calculated this is not necessary. Oh, okay, of course, because he can take a 3-point field as well. So this was a +6 move. And all that Lola can do now is just score 4 points over here. Yeah, that's just pretty much the only move that gives him a lot. This 4-point road does not work because this would be expanding green's field. So nice precision here from the Chinese player. And a dominant performance. So, okay, whilst the points are being counted, I'm just gonna enlarge this. I don't know if you can see from here, but it's lines from the United States Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, and so on. I mean, to me, it's the first sentence that comes to mind when the words self-evident are being pronounced. But do let us know, actually, what's your actual origin of the screen name? So a 5-0 victory for China, as the ELO calculator predicted, even though on tables 1 and 2, both players from Catalonia tried hard to make some resistance. Experience and rating and some other things helped China outclass their opponents. And with that, China is guaranteed to be #1 in Group B. And China is advancing straight to the quarterfinals. They won't even have to play in the round of 12, whereas Team Spain and most likely Team Latvia, they will compete for whoever's the second in this group, and then they will have to play in the round of 12 before they can go to the quarterfinals. Self-evident too is saying mathematics in general is fundamentally the science of self-evident things. Yeah, makes sense too. Kind of, you know. If honest, I was debating. I was thinking either putting this little scroll of the Declaration of Independence, or just writing 1 = 1. But then it would be taking too much space, and also the scroll looked kind of pretty, so that's why I went for this. All right, so we're gonna have several more things to talk about. There's gonna be an update on the tournament table and on the and of course on the fantasy Carcassonne. But before that, I wanna try again to congratulate Team China with their national anthem. Alrighty. Okay, there we go. Just gonna move this a little bit to the left. So, all rise for the national anthem of China. Alrighty, so very strong performance from Team China, and they advanced to the quarterfinals. But now, time to talk about some other things. First of all, tournament table. Let's just have a look at how actually Team China is doing. So they're currently now on 6 out of 7 and on plus 13 in duel difference, which means that even if Spain wins 5-0 against Ukraine, which, by the way, given the strength of Team Ukraine, is not very likely, Spain can only be at plus 11. So China is guaranteed first. And then, of course, there's... and the way it works with Team Latvia, if Latvia wins with any result, because Latvia is at like plus 8, and if Spain, in terms of their dual difference, and if Spain loses with any result, then Latvia leapfrogs Spain for the second spot. And then if Latvia were to lose against Team Poland, then Spain will keep their second spot no matter what. So if Latvia loses Poland by a little bit, then Latvia still has guaranteed to qualify. But if Latvia loses to Poland very, very heavily, which I hope is not going to happen, but, you know, we're still going to do our best, then Team Ukraine has a mathematical shot if they, again, defeat the Ukraine heavily. So if Latvia loses 5-0 and Ukraine wins 5-0 or 4-1 versus Spain, then they advance. What else? So Self-Evident is saying that China is going to play Japan. Yeah, actually, well, no, we don't know that yet, right? Because Japan has not yet secured their spot in the quarterfinals. Let's see how this is going to work. Oh yeah, everything has been already clarified in Group A. So it's Romania, Germany, Japan. Japan is going to be on the number 3 spot in Group A. Let's just look at this. I think we need to go to the calendar and look for the playoffs. So China is first in Group B, and they're going to be playing second from Group D and third versus third from Group A. Third from Group A is Japan indeed. I mean, yeah, you're probably going to play Japan, but I mean, Japan still has to defeat whoever is second in Group D, which I think is, well, it's either Argentina or France. We're going to find out. In no likelihood it's going to be Argentina. Yeah, Japan is stronger than Argentina, but, you know, you never know. You never know. It's Carcassonne. Like, Japan lost to Mexico, for example. So anything could happen. Yeah, probably it's going to be Japan. And what's not that fortunate is that China and Japan are likely to meet already in the quarterfinals and not in the finals, as it was last time. So yeah, well, anyway, if China meets Japan, then I am streaming this match. I mean, even if it's like in the middle of the night. Alrighty, and the final thing for today is the Fantasy Carcassonne update. Just a reminder for our newer viewers that we're playing a championship-long Fantasy Carcassonne game, and whoever is best at Fantasy Carcassonne among my viewers gets this Citadels games with some extra rules from Alexey. Anyway, where's my stuff? Fantasy. Ah, there we are. So, the number on the left, which you can see, is the standings from last week. And Matt Tucker, who was 4th, has already climbed after some yesterday's matches, and that's because Craft Giraffe, who was 1st, quite convincingly, suffered some casualties after Team Germany's yesterday's defeat to Team Japan. The player with screen name Medusa Hope lost, the player with screen name Meeple Wizard lost, and of course most of you have bet on some Japanese players and most of you have gained some ground. Then after that, in places 3 and 4, also formerly 5 and 6, we have Bogdan Kurkan, who bet on his brother quite successfully, and Johan Nautz, who bet on also some other strong players. And then after that, I'm just going to scroll so that you can see where you are at, in case you are participating. Many of my viewers are. Is the volume too low? I don't think it should be. I know it was an issue last time. Okay, so now it was slightly better. I think after the anthem, when I turned my mic back, I kind of only did it halfway. But still, I think I should be audible. And I mean, you can see anything on the screen. Okay, it's okay for you. So good to know. Good to know. Yeah, and as you see, Alexey's pick also suffered some casualties a little bit, even though I'm still doing all right, because I picked GDLK for my team. He actually lost in Chile's match versus the United States. You can watch the stream archive. And also, I picked Dr. Taihan, who I think is the strongest Chinese player, but he did not play today. Yeah, imagine like China defeated Catalonia 5-0 without their strongest player. That's just insane level. And also China is now the highest rated team in terms of average elo. Oh, by the way, self-evident why you're here. There should be a second repeat of the last sentence. Thanks for letting me know. I'll make sure that this is the case when China wins next time. Yeah, but while you're here, can you tell us like why the player with screen name 203 club participated only now? Were they not able to make it, or simply your team is that strong that a player with a rating of 600 is considered to be kind of a spare player? Yeah, and you see the collective wisdom pick, which started abysmally, now is doing slightly better, as the Japanese players have managed to score a little bit more. Even though Kiefer wasn't playing, should manage to win his game against his German opponent. And Alexey and someone you know also got back into black. And they will be playing both today, a little bit later. Yeah, these are the developments in Carcassonne, in Fantasy Carcassonne game. As you see, after Germany's defeat yesterday, then almost anything is up for grabs at the top. In terms of players who are doing well, not in Fantasy Carcassonne, but in actual Carcassonne, you can look over here at their performances. So many players have won all their matches, like Mikhail Rose, Mars 15, Krisnov, Viv, so they're on 5 out of 5. But there's only one player who has managed to win 6 matches, and as many of you know, this is the Mexican player with the screen name Manarori. Alrighty, that's enough for Fantasy Carcassonne today. And finally, about today's streams that are going to happen. We're going to go to have a look at the stream schedule. Okay, so self-evident saying is that the player with screen name 203 Club was simply busy. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, the second time repeat, not of the last sentence, but the repeat of the sentence before the last one, talking about the national anthem of China. You know what? Yeah, I think I get what you mean, but I'll just re-listen to the national anthem a few more times. Also, by the way, you all realize that you only can that I have like to learn twice as many anthems as you actually hear, because obviously Catalonia's anthem pretty interesting as well. It's in a minor key, and Czechia's anthem super interesting. It has like very unusual lyrics for the anthem as well. So next time in the next tournament, perhaps in the European Championship, maybe when either Catalonia or Czech Republic wins, then you'll see what I mean. So today we have a bunch of other streams. I will be streaming Ukraine versus Spain, which will decide the fate of the second place in this group. And then Craft Giraffe is streaming Latvia versus Poland at 5 p.m. UTC today, which you absolutely have to watch. I can't stream this for obvious reasons. I'm playing. Well, yeah, so this will be only half a stream. Tunisia versus Brazil and Peru versus Belgium, where Peru will be trying to get their first win and Belgium will be trying to advance in the standings. And Romania versus Mexico, that will be streamed in Spanish on Twitch by their captain Elias Machan, who's not playing. That will certainly will be an interesting match. Both teams don't have too much to fight for. Romania will be first no matter what, and Mexico is not going to qualify no matter what, but there are going to be some interesting duels anyway. Exactly, Bogdan. Thanks for pointing out. So today, Mars 15, who is on 5 out of 5 victories, plays against Man and Rory, who is on 6 out of 6 victories. So one of them is going to end their winning streak. Then that's going to be it. Maple the like button if you enjoyed the stream. Congrats to Team China again. And I'm going to meet you all in the evening. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.